So students, in this video, we are going to learn features of Python language, installing Python on your computer, working modes of Python, variables, data type in Python, type function, input function, operators in Python, precedence of operators, comment in Python, types of control structure, and after that conditional statement. So let's start. So before starting this chapter, you have to understand how does a program work. So the program works by the help of the process of IPO. This is the IPO cycle in which computer works. That is input, process and output. Here is the example given that an electric kettle is filled with water. Okay, and the kettle is plugged into the electrical socket. The on switch is pressed. Now what will happen? The tea bags are placed in the teapot and the water in the kettle boils. The boiling water is poured into the teapot. The tea brews. Now the final thing is the brewed tea is poured into the teacup. Milk is added. The tea is consumed. Now the final result is in front of you that tea has been prepared. So similarly, our program works on the basis of this input, process and output. Now moving ahead, features of Python language. So it is very simple and interactive. It is a platform independent also. Many of the softwares are using this Python language so that they can create this software. So it is a platform independent. It means you can run any of the operating system. Like you have a Mac operating system of Apple, like you have a Windows operating system. So many other operating system can run very easily because it is a platform independent. Now it is a case sensitive. It means if you are writing a capital letter of any of the name, but if you are writing a small name, both are different because the capital letter and the small letters both there have own significance. So we can say that this language is a case sensitive language. Now object oriented. Object oriented, which means you can create an object and you can fill the memory as a location in it, so that it is known as object oriented language. Now interpreted language, the language which converts the high level language into the machine level language line by line, that is known as interpret. Python works on interpreter, that is why it is known as interpreted language. Next one is uses variable without declaration. In our previous language, we have to give the declaration. After that, we can use any variable. But in Python, it is not necessary to give the declaration and you can use without declaration. As you can see here, many of the applications which are designed using Python, like Instagram, as you can see, like Pinterest, Spotify, Dropbox, Uber, Reddit, YouTube, Gmail, Google. These are the many websites are created using by this language, which is Python language. This is, you can see the installation Python on your computer. If you want to install Python in your computer, what you have to do, you have to visit a website which is www.python.org. Once you go on that website, you can search a latest version of Python in which you can download, because the Python is an open source software. Once you have downloaded that file, you just have to double click on it and then install it. And once you have installed and open the IDE, this interface will be shown. This is known as Python shell, And here you can see the three arrow which mean Python prompt. And after this three arrow, we can write the program. And once you will enter the program can convert it into the high level language to the machine level language. That means it is an interpreted language. Now you have to understand how many modes are there of Python program, how many ways you can write the program on the Python ideally. So there is a two method in which you can write your program in Python language, that is interactive mode and script mode. Interactive mode in which you can write the program and can convert it into a line by line. If you work on the ideally, you are just using the interactive mode. For the simple program, you just use the interactive mode. But if you want to write a lengthy program, you have to use the script mode. How do you can use script mode? You can write your program any of the text software like Notepad, WordPad, MS Word. You have to just save that file with the extension of .py. So you can run the whole program in the interactive mode. This is known as script mode. So there is a two method in which you can write your program. For the simple program, you can use interactive mode, and for the lengthy program, you can use script mode. Now the next thing is print function. So the function can do the specific task in our program. So the first function that I want to tell you, which is print function. By the help of the print function, you can show the output of the given value. So here is the example. So x equals to 1, you can see, and we are writing the print x. So x is defined by 1, so the answer will coming 1. So here you can see the result 1. Likewise, hello it is given here, but what you have to do, you have to just print and the value what you have to give, what you have given s. So s is assigned as a hello, so the result will come hello. Now there is a several example which is using by the print function and show the output. So the print function shows the output. Now the next thing is separator with print function. So in the print function, we can use the separator. What is the meaning of separator? Separator, which means inside the parenthesis, you can write the two things by the help of the separator. Separator, which means you can use different value to distinguish between two values. We can use the separator. For using the two variable like a and b, we have to just separate it. So we will write a comma b. For separating, there are three things are using in Python language. The first one is comma. So the comma is to print the next value after a space. Like suppose here is the a and you have to give the b second value, which is b. So the first value is a and the second value is b. If you will print here, so the first value will be print and after that there is a space and then second value will be print. So that is why we will use comma separator. Next one is slash n, which is new line. If you want to give the enter between two values, then you have to use this new line separator. Here is the a. If you want to write the next value, which is b, in the next line, you can use new line separator. Next thing is slash t, which is tab separator. So if you want to print the next value after tab space, which means you want to give the 5 space between two values, like a is here and b is here, and in between there is a 5 space. So there's so this 5 space is known as tab. Got it? So we can use a 3 types of separator in Python program. So as I told you about the script mode. So in the interactive mode, Python display the result of the expression. We use interactive mode when we write a small program, as I have told you, because the output in the interactive mode is compressed between the statements and is not suitable for writing lengthy program. To write lengthy program, we use the script mode. Now the next thing is variable. So what is variable? So variable is a storage location to hold the value to use later. The variable can store only one data value at a time. When a new value is stored in a variable, its previous value get overwritten. If there is a letter A, you assign the value which is 2. So here is called the variable and here is called the value. And if you are assigning any of the value with the variable, you also can change it. So how can you change? So if suppose there is the text A, you are assigning a value 2, then again you can write A equals to 4. So this A is overwritten by 4. So A is known as variable. Rules to write the variable name. So in place of A, you can write any of the name. But before writing the name, you have to follow the rule. So what is the rule? So variable must start with an alphabet or underscore. You cannot start by any of the number. Otherwise, the variable will not accept it. The variable will not acceptable. Like you cannot write 3a, but you can write a3. Got it? It is the wrong way, but it is a right way. Okay, so you can start by the help of the alphabet or underscore. You can start by the help of alphabet or underscore. So this is the rule. Next one is you cannot allow to use any of the keyboard in Python. You are giving the name of any of the variable that is like int, sum. So you cannot use these type of word because these words are keywords which have already exist in Python. If it is already exist, you cannot give the name of the variable with the same name. Otherwise, it will not acceptable. Got it? Now, next one is space not allowed. Like suppose there is a variable a space b equals to 2. It will not accept because there is a space in it. So space is not allowed if you are giving the name of any of the variable. So space is not allowed in variable name. Next rule is variable names are case sensitive. Like suppose there is a variable a, you are assigning any of the value 4 and there is a capital A, you are assigning a 3. So small a is different, capital A is different. Both variables are different because Python is a case sensitive language. So that is why small a is other variable and capital A is other variable. Next one is data type in Python. So type of data values that can be stored in an identifier in which we can identify our data. Such as variable is known as a data type. So data type help in classifying different types of data value which is used in our program. Got it? So there are 3 types of data type we can use in Python program. There is a several kinds of data, but we have to discuss about the 3 types of data type, that is int, float, string. So in the int, we can use the data which is integer. Integer, which means we can use the value in positive sign, negative sign, or 0. So there is, in the integer, there are two types of integers are available. Basically three types of integer we can say, but two types of integers we can say. So the first one is plain integer. So minus 2147483648 to 2147836647, this range is known as plain integer, and beyond this range is known as long integer. And if you are using a true or false or 0 or 1, you can use a bool. Okay, so bool is another types of data type, but we have inserted in integer because it can use 0 and 1. So 0 and 1 we can say it is an integer, but we cannot use a negative sign with any of the boolean data type. Now, using the floating point number, for floating point values we can use a float integer. What is floating point number? So if there is a point value 3.14, so this point value is known as floating value. So for floating point values we can use float integer. Now the string. A string, which means a collection of character, and we can denote the collection of character by the help of single quotes or double quotes. Got it? So this is known as string data type. Next one is input function. So input functions allow the users to enter the value during the execution of the programs are required. If you are required to take the value from the user, you can use the input function. Now moving ahead to learn the operators in Python. So operators are used to perform a different operation like arithmetic operation, relation operation, logical operation. For these operations we need a operand. So what is operand? So this is the operator, and using before and after the value, before and after of any of the operator, this value is known as operand. When we are calculating the number, we get an answer that is known as a product or sum. Okay, so these are the different kinds of value of different sign. Okay, positive sign, negative sign, multiply sign, divide sign. Every sign has different significance. These are known as arithmetic operator. Got it? So operators are used to perform different operation like arithmetic operation, relational operation, and logical operation. Now precedence of operator. Precedence, which means the order of priority of operators in expression, and associativity follow when there is a same precedence. Now associativity determine the direction of operators either from left to right or vice versa. Vice versa, which means left to right or right to left. Now here you can see the precedence of any of the operator. Like here is the highest and here is the lowest. So the highest precedence of any of the operator is parenthesis, then exponentiation, then negative positive argument, which is known as unary operator. Unary, which means only one number is required for any of operator like plus and minus. Next one is arithmetic operator in which contain multiplication, division, floor division, modulus, add. Next one is addition and subtraction, and after that this one is relational operator, and relational operator contain less than or equals to, greater than or equals to, not equals to. Then after logical operator, which is not, and, or. So these are the highest to lowest precedence of any of the operator. The next thing is comment in Python. So what is comment? So comments are the statements that are added to programs with the purpose of making the code easier to understand. If you are making a lengthy program, if you want to write your notes in front of the program for future purpose so that anyone can edit the program very easily, so for writing, for understanding that program, you can give the note which is known as comment. So you can give the two types of comment, which is single line comment and multi-line comment. So what is single line comment? A comment which he can write in a single line. This is known as single line comment. For writing the single line comment, you can use the hash and then you can write your note. It will not going to run. That is why we are using the comment for understanding. Next one is multi-line comment. The multi-line comment, you can write the note in many lines. That is why it is known as multi-line comment. For using the multi-line comments, we can use the 3 quotation marks. This is known as delimiters. This is known as delimiter. 3 quotation mark, 3 double quotation mark is known as delimiter. But for using a multi-line comment, we can use a 2 delimiters. First one is from beginning and the last one is from ending. Now, types of control structure. So the computer programs are generally executed in a sequential manner, right? The flow of execution is altered by the using of control statement. So there are different types of statements that control the flow of program, which is sequential program, conditional statement, iterative statement. So sequential statement is a program executed in a sequential manner as the name suggests. Now conditional statements check the condition and execute a statement accordingly. Iterative statement, the statements repeat a set of statements for a specific number of time as long as the given condition is true. Before this, it will not going to run, and again and again and again it will do the loop of the program continuously, and if the program will not going to true, the program will be execute. If it is true, the program will be stopped. So this is known as iterative statement. The program will be continuously run. Now the flow chart. Flow chart is a pictorial representation of the flow of a step or a procedure to solve a program. As the previous, we have understand the statements, the types of statements we have understand. The first one is sequential, then the second one is conditional, and third one is iterative. Here is the flow chart of a 3 different statement. This is the sequential manner, this one is a iterative, and this one is a conditional. So here is, you can understand by the help of the flow chart with the different statement. So this is the sequential statement because it works in the sequential manner. So here is a start and here's the start, and you can give the input. Now here is the another statement which shows the looping or iterative. So here is the input, and then here give the decision. If it is not true, it will again and again and again run, and then after it will, when it is false, it will stop. Okay, now the next thing is conditional. So here is the input and give the decision. If it is true, it will go here, it will, if it is false, it will go here, and both the result will get the stop. This is do the decision, so that is why it is known as conditional statement. So here is the flow chart which we can understand by the help of the pictorial representation, and every flow of steps are procedures to solve any of the program. And here is the program we have to understand by the help of the flow chart. We have understand the 3 different statements, that is sequential, iterative, and conditional. We will learn a type function. So what is type function? So if you are writing in type function, if you want to know what type of data you are working with, so we will use a type function. So there is a type I am writing here, and inside the parenthesis I will write the value, like I am writing 20.12. So close the bracket, close the parenthesis, and then do the enter. So what you will see, this function, it will show which function you are working with. So here 20.12, it is what? It is a floating point value. So that is why it is showing float. Now the next thing, I'm writing type parenthesis open. Now I'm writing quotation mark apple, and then quotation mark close, and then do the parenthesis close. Then I will do the enter. So what you will see, you will see a class str represent string. So this value is representing that it is a string. First of all, we will use the if. So this statement is used to evaluate only one condition. Now let us see. A equals to 100, like, okay. Now b equals to also 100. Okay, we have assigned a two variable. So now what we have to do, if 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 a equals to b, so here we are using a double equals to. So double equals to is a relational operator. Using the colon mark, have to make the block. So for making the block, you have, first of all, you have to give the colon and do the enter and count 4 space 1 2 3 4. Then after, you have to write print, and what you want to print. If in the quotation mark, you have to write if the number will equal, then it is right. I want to show this message. Close the quotation mark, close the parenthesis, and do enter. Let's see what happened. So here your answer, if the number will equal, then it is right. So because a equals to 10, 100, and b equals to 100, both the numbers are equal, so this message will show. If it was not equals, then this message will not show. Another thing is if else. So the if else is a control structure, and it is used when either of the two different action are to be performed depending the result of the conditional expression. And it works with two blocks, like if and else. If it was wrong, then else will work. Okay, so here we are giving the two types of conditions. Let's see. For example, a equals to 20 and b equals to 30. Okay, we are giving the two variable. And if space, and then after we are giving the relational operator, which is a is greater than b, then give the colon and do the enter and count 4 space 1 2 3 4. Then what you have to write? Print a is, or we can write big. A is big. Okay, a is big, and then this must be in quotation mark because it is a string. So I am putting the quotation mark. A is big. Close the quotation mark and close the bracket. Then after, we will write the else statement, and if this statement will not run, then else will run. Now colon, and after that do the enter and count the 4 space 1 2 3 4. Then write print, and the second message inside a quotation mark. A is small. Quotation mark, and then close the parenthesis. Now do the enter. So what will be the answer? A is small. So as you can see, A is small. So this message will show because A is not greater than B. So if there is a is greater than B, then it will show A is big. Else print A is small. because A is small, that is why it is showing A is small. So this way we will use the if else statement. So now if we have a three types of condition or three or more condition, we will use if elif else. If elif else. So we will use a several times elif. Like A equals to 10, we are giving, and B equals to 30, we are writing. Then we are giving the if, then A is greater than B. Then we will put the colon and then do the enter, and we will give the 4 space 1 2 3 4, and then print and give your message that A is greater or A is big. We will write in the quotation mark A is big. Okay, then close the parenthesis and then we will write elif. Okay, and give the next condition that B is greater than A, and then give the colon. Then after that we will give the 4 space 1 2 3 4. Okay, then write the next message, print B in the quotation mark, B is small. Close the quotation mark, close the parenthesis. Then the next condition I want to give the else, because this is the last statement. This is the last condition that I want to give. So if you want, you can give many times using elif. Okay, then else we will give the message like 1 2 3 4, and then write print, and then after that last message what you want to give, that both are correct. Both are correct. Close the quotation mark, close the parenthesis. If first one will wrong, second will run. If second one will also wrong, then third will run. And this way you can give the more than 3 condition. Then I will what I will do the enter. Then again I will do the enter. Then you can see the answer. B is small because elif has run. If elif will not run, then else block will be run. Now you are getting the conditional statement.